top 10 duel.
It's the number 9 ranked Nick Bouzakis out of Tampa, Florida, and the number 2 ranked Lucas Byrd out of Cincinnati, Ohio. Actually, a very fun story about Lucas Byrd. Over the winter break, he went to go visit his girlfriend out in Pennsylvania. Actually trained with a couple of absolute superstars in the sport of wrestling, Jordan Burroughs and Masanosuke Ono.
And was it really to go see his girlfriend, or was it to go train with Olympic athletes? I don't know. Bouzakis gets that first takedown to open up a 3-0 lead. This is going to be a really interesting first period. And there's that one escape. Bouzakis, Byrd, 2 guys that like to go upstairs. And what I mean by that, they love to throw. They love the big money move. Let's see who gets one first.
Well, Nick Bouzakis out to the early lead. He's 6-0 in duels so far to start this season. Like I said, out of Tampa, Florida. Wyoming Seminary College Prep High School. He's a redshirt sophomore.
Yeah, and Wyoming Seminary, one of the best high school in the country for wrestling. Bouzakis came there, as you said, out of Florida. That year he's 15-2 with his only 2 losses against ranked opponents. You know, and he had a huge win against one of his rivals, Dylan Ragnarsson of Michigan. So he's ready to go. This is a matchup that I know Illinois was looking forward to, but Bouzakis got the better of Byrd last year.
He's got the better of Byrd so far halfway through the first period. If you're just joining us, we're in the second matchup of the night. The Ohio State Buckeyes got out to an early 3-0 win with a decision win for Brendan McCrone over Illinois' Kalen Riley. Now we're into the second matchup, 133, between Nick Bouzakis and Lucas Byrd.
Feeling each other out here. A lot of hand fighting. Look, Bouzakis has that high elbow tie, and that's how he got that first takedown with that little shrug, go behind. So, Lucas ain't gonna let him hang out.
Get out of grass. There you go.
But this is the period you got to kind of weather the storm with Bouzakis. He starts fast. Like I said, these guys love the big throw, love the big money move. But right now they're feeling each other out with Bouzakis leading 3-1 with just under a minute to go in the first period, Tony.
Byrd wanted a shot attempt. Instead, he clears out, and he'll reassess. This is a top 10 matchup here on the floor right now.
Yeah, and this was interesting. We talked to Tom Ryan, and he's got a talented freshman, one of the top 10 recruits in the country from Illinois, Ben Davino. But they chose to wrestle Bouzakis. Looks like they're going to redshirt Davino. Bouzakis is going to be the guy. And 15-2, nationally ranked. Very, very strong part of the lineup here for the Ohio State Buckeyes. Just under 10 seconds.
Lots of hand fighting going on in this first period. After that early takedown will end 3-1. Bouzakis will choose to take the bottom. And as I was saying, Lucas Byrd went out to Philly, was there for 3 days, got to train with Jordan Burroughs and Masanosuke Ono, the number 1 and number 2 pound-for-pound wrestler in the world. Masanosuke Ono just out there in the United States, first time ever, was just in Philly at the same time as Lucas Byrd. He got to train with both of those unbelievable wrestlers, and coming out of it, both those wrestlers told Lucas Byrd, "We are so impressed by you. You seriously can win against anyone." And Coach Boletta said that it really does something to your confidence when you hear people with that sort of pedigree say something to you like that.
Yeah, and you went out and trained, and a little concerned here early on with how the pace is going between Bouzakis and Byrd, as we talked about. Will the layoff help or will the layoff hurt? Byrd was on a roll, and there's a takedown right off the bat, and they gave it to him. And his match is going to be tied 4-4.
What a move there by Lucas Byrd. That's really his bread and butter, is control the hand fighting and then just rock it down for the shot. There was really nothing Bouzakis can do about that, as the challenge brick will come out by Ryan.
Tom Ryan and Logan Stieber. Logan Stieber there in the corner. For those of you, Logan Stieber, 4-time national champion, 4-time Big Ten champion. He four-time All-American, 4 of those 69 that Tom Ryan coached. And he's the one that threw the brick out there for his little guy because he was a 33 and 41-pounder. Yep. We're going to look at it here real quick, Tony. And right there, it's a takedown. You know, you don't have to bring someone to the mat in order to get it, as long as you have control behind them. And that's definitely a takedown. And Bouzakis' hand is still on the mat anyway, inbounds. So this one's going to stand if I'm making the call, but it's going to be Mike Fredrickson's choice. But right off the bat, 2 challenges back and forth. Here it comes again, Tony. What are you seeing?
Well, I see this takedown right there. That's the takedown right before Bouzakis gets to his feet, and then he gets out of bounds after that rollout. But you see, just for that split second, Byrd is behind him before Bouzakis' feet gets back to the mat, and there's the takedown right there.
And he had a point down, and it's interesting because he got the challenge, and they didn't look at it too long. Well, they're still looking at it. Here they go. But, I mean, he had 1 point. His hand was down. He was behind him. I think this is going to stick, and this is important. 4-4. You know, Bouzakis is going to go down, and it'll be Byrd's choice in the third period. But this is just what he expected from this marquee matchup at 133.
Absolutely. That was a good play by Lucas Byrd nonetheless. And had he had room, Bouzakis had a chance to scramble out of there immediately, maybe for a reverse.
Okay.
We'll take another look at it.
It's slow motion. And as we said, there it is. And what a great job by our replay booth. And that one stands. So it's 4-4 with just over a minute to go in the second period, Tony.
Like you said, now we're at 4-4 in this top 10 matchup. Good roll by Nick Bouzakis, but Lucas Byrd hangs on. Less than a minute here in period number 2. Another good roll. Bouzakis trying to get the reversal, instead will just escape, get the 1 point, and take the lead back.
45 seconds here. A takedown here in the last 45 seconds of the second period would really put someone in control of the match. See if one gets aggressive. Byrd and the Bouzakis feel himself out. Very similar styles, as I said. Both very aggressive up top, but they've had a nice shrug and an ankle pick takedown. You know, haven't seen that big high fly Greco move yet.
That shot attempt, Lucas Byrd got all the way to the mat. Nothing to show for it, though. 20 seconds left here. Little ankle grab by Byrd. Again, nothing to show.
Both of these guys like to wrestle, very similar styles, you know, on their feet. Hands on the mat, knees on the mat, feeling each other out. Just under 10 seconds. So it looks like we're going to go into the third period with Byrd down by a point, but it will be his choice.
5-4 here in this 133 matchup. Byrd will take down, try to time this matchup up at 5 with an escape.
How soon does Byrd get out, and how much energy does he spend there on the bottom? Bouzakis coming outside, looking for that over-the-top cradle ride.
Bouzakis does have a very good grip of Bird's head right there. Byrd trying to squirm out of there.
Oh, he's got a cradle locked up, Tony.
But there's the cradle. Byrd does squeak out of there. And there's the escape. Tie matchup, 133 to go. You hear the crowd get loud.
133 to go, 5-5 in this marquee matchup. And can the crowd at Huff Hall push it? Looks like getting a stalling call, and there it is. I don't know so much how much of that the crowd aided it, but the orange out tonight had their first effect.
Yeah, orange out. You wouldn't be able to tell. There's not much orange out there, but that's all right. It's still a loud crowd.
Approaching that minute mark, 5-5 here. Coach Jeremy Hunter out there encouraging Luke and Byrd to get it. He's looking for that ankle pick. They must have seen something, you know, in film that said that ankle pick. So that's exactly how he scored. He keeps reaching for it. So be interested if he goes back to it. Got a hands locked behind you. He's got a little headlock.
A little shot attempt there by Bouzakis.
Oh, and this is what I talked about. Both upstairs, over-under ties.
Bouzakis has a good grip of Bird's chest right here, trying to get him to the grounds.
You got to be careful here with Bouzakis with that high elbow. Loves to reach for that Bird's right arm with his left arm above his elbow. That's where he scored on that shrug earlier.
30 seconds to go in this top 10 matchup. If no points are scored, we'll go to sudden victory. There's another ankle pick by Byrd.
Bouzakis got a deep crotch lift here. He's got to come out the back door, Lucas Byrd. One thing he has to do is break his grip. 15 seconds. It's going to be tough here to finish, but he's looking in good shape right now. He needs to turn and windshield wiper his feet. He's in
Just
really
needs
good
to turn
position,
around,
Tony.
Just need to turn his legs.
Oh.
He can't uncross his legs. You saw his legs were a little crossed. He couldn't get around the backside. And they will call the third
No
period. Will go
takedown.
to Son of Victory. That was a very good call by the officials. Lucas Byrd, you saw his feet were like tied up behind the backside of Bouzakis. Just couldn't get that right foot around.
Bouzakis did a very good job fending that off there. You know, as soon as that shot came, got into a deep crotch lift, you know, and defended it very well, and then actually back pressured into him.
All right, here we go. First point scored will be the match here. Early fireworks here in this top 10 matchup in the Big Ten. There's a shot attempt by Lucas
There it
Byrd, and
is!
there it is. And a little flex to add it. A comeback victory for Lucas Byrd. He'll defend his home floor, his home mat in sudden victory.
Well, that match surely lived up to the hype. Top, you know, high-flying Kraisser here against nationally ranked Paddy Gallagher, number 9 from that St. Edwards, Ohio, famed program in Ohio that just did a documentary on him. And Paddy's representing Ohio State Buckeyes in his home state.
And we're getting straight into this one. Very aggressive hand fighting to start this 157 matchup.
Yeah, Paddy Gallagher 10-2 on the season, lost to Antron Taylor, and then an upset match against Cody Chittum. But Gallagher, very, very aggressive, very physical wrestler. Number 1 pound-for-pound wrestler coming out of high school, out of St. Ed's, as we said. And, you know, got an at-large bid in the 2023 season national qualifier. Here against Jason Kraisser, the graduate student. Jason loves to let it fly, loves that Russian tie-up.
Started out this match very quick. There's a shot attempt by Gallagher. He's in deep, too. Just needs to bring him, pull him back in, and there it is. 3-point takedown for Paddy Gallagher. Feel like we haven't seen one of those in a while. No takedowns in the last matchup.
Yeah, it's, you know, right now, with the last 2 victories, the Ohio State Buckeyes have really taken some momentum out of the sails after that big overtime win by Lucas Byrd. Kraisser right back up to his feet, 3-1, and Gallagher right back to that physical hand fight.
Yeah, Gallagher let Kraisser up after that takedown. Goes for another shot attempt, this time for the left leg. Unsuccessful. Now Kraisser reaching for a leg of Gallagher's.
Jason's got a great gas tank here, and, you know, if there's any knock on Paddy Gallagher, it's maybe that he's not so battle-tested in the third periods, but, I mean, 10-2 on the season, and he's looking like that nationally ranked kid that Tom Ryan recruited.
Well,
You know-
Kraisser outside of the top 25. It's a very good opportunity here against a top 10 opponent.
You know, we weren't sure if we were going to see Sammy Sasso or not, and it would end up being Paddy Gallagher. Sasso wrestling at an open tournament, lost in the finals, but 2-time national finalist, you know, came back from a tragic, you know, accident. And, you know, Tom Ryan's trying to get him back in the lineup. Will he be at 57? Will he be at 65? Not sure. But tonight, it's Paddy Gallagher.
A very aggressive shot attempt there by Jason Kraisser. Leaves him wide open for an attack on Gallagher's end. But now he's got that hold around Gallagher's hip. Trying to get him to his back now. That should be the takedown. There it is.
Nice takedown by Jason Kraisser to get the crowd back in it. A somewhat shocked Gallagher, but that's what Jason does. He loves to scramble. He loves to put himself in situations, and he gets the Illini back to the lead, 4-3.
Green cover.
You know, last time we seen Jason, you know, we were in the outside arena against Missouri, had a nice high and flying move against James Conway. You know, Gallagher much more fundamentally sound. But let's see what Jason loves to be on top, loves to ride the legs. This is a situation where he's really good at, Tony. And maybe he can wear Gallagher out here a little bit, and that's what he's trying to do.
Well, this is a very favorable position for Kraisser. Gallagher completely sprawled out on the mat.
Jason Kraisser made his way here from Illinois, from Maryland in high school, 4-time state champion. Then he was at Campbell University in Iowa State. Now he's wearing that blue and orange singlet in his last season and doing a nice job here against the highly ranked number 9, Paddy Gallagher.
And he just rode out Gallagher for the end of that period. And he'll take the bottom here, so chance for another extra point here for the underdog Kraisser.
Optional start here. And they obviously scouted Kraisser because Kraisser likes to roll in the bottom, likes to get funky in the bottom. Oh, no, he goes back down. That's a caution because he said he was going optional. Nice call by the referee, Michael Fredrickson. I think he wanted to go optional start, and then, they're trying to get some of that riding time off that we talked about.
Clean of gear. Stay out of head gear.
Well, straight to his feet does go Jason Kraisser. Gets that extra point for the escape. Now a 2-point lead.
Jason loves that Russian tie-up, but we'll see. He scored on that single scramble, so we'll see if he goes back to it.
And a beautiful scramble there by Paddy Gallagher. Gets the 3-point takedown. That was a Jason Kraisser shot that Gallagher just avoided and turned around on Kraisser himself.
Yeah,
and he
Jason
takes the lead.
He took that shot and he put his head right down, and that was the difficult part. Right back in on a single.
Another immediate shot there on the right leg. But now Kraisser gets him to his back. There's some back points.
Not yet. They're in, a somewhat neutral position, but it'll be interesting. There it is. Jason has a Turk here. If he needs to keep putting him out, reach for that ankle, and there it is. There's the back points you talked about, Tony.
He gets a full 4. And I mentioned I thought he was going to get those back points there. It was a good scramble by Gallagher to avoid it as long as he could, but it was just delaying the inevitable. Kraisser gets him to his back, gets 4 points, and a 7-point play for Jason Kraisser, now firmly in control of this matchup.
This match is far from over. Jason is funky, loves to be in this position. There is no way that Paddy Gallagher is going to take down in the third period as dominant as Jason's been on top. We've seen kind of a turn of events in that last match when Emilio, a slight upset, as you mentioned, Tony. And this would be a huge upset for the Illini if Kraisser can hold on against the highly ranked Paddy Gallagher.
You got both in, gentlemen.
This is one that Tom Ryan and his staff had marked clearly in their favor. There is no way, no how Paddy Gallagher takes down.
Well, he definitely just won't be able to. He needs points. He's down 7 to Jason Kraisser. He will stand up.
Logan Stieber, the assistant coach, and Tom Ryan on the edge of the mat, screaming neutral before the period even ended, Tony. And they know he needs a takedown. Jason loves this Russian tie-up.
He's got a good position on Kraisser right now. He's got a hold of the head. He'll break free and reassess. There's a good
takedown.
Good little turnaround by Paddy Gallagher, but Kraisser gets back around it, gets hold of Paddy Gallagher's chest, and now Kraisser in the favorable position.
Yeah, he's got Jason's knee here. That's not good. Got his toe there. Watch the toe. But Paddy likes to be in this situation. If you watch what he's doing, he's trying to clear that far elbow and get behind him for that go behind. This is the position Jason likes. This is where Jason scored twice so far on these shots. He's got to get locked up in his crotch or keep that far ankle. He's losing it a little bit, Tony.
Gallagher trying to work and get around him.
He's got to keep that ankle. High ankle wins here. High ankle wins. Jason needs to keep his hands locked. Don't let go of that.
No takedown yet for Gallagher. Still hasn't gotten fully around him. Now they'll call a stalemate and stand him up. Kraisser did a good job of holding on to Gallagher's left ankle, or else it would have been 3 points. And now 40 seconds left away from a big upset in favor of the Illini. A quick shot attempt by Gallagher. He's in a good position. Can he get 3 points? He can. And he'll let him up because he needs more.
That takedown, though, got it back to a regular decision. But regardless, this is a huge match for the Illini and Jason Kraisser. 13-9 with 16 seconds to go.
Now Kraisser making his way around trying to get Gallagher to his back. Probably won't,
That's
but there's
three,
a 2-point reverse.
And that's 16-9.
It'll call a 2-point reversal. Apparently, Jason Kraisser never got to his feet for the escape. He'll come off with a 2-point reversal. Big flex for him. And a big upset for the Illinois Fighting Illini. They pull back within 6.
That is a huge win for Jason Kraisser over nationally ranked Paddy Gallagher. Right before the break, the Illini.
Champaign, Illinois, we got one more matchup to go. It's the heavyweight matchup between Nick Feldman, number 7, and number 11, Luke Luffman, the hometown kid from Urbana, Illinois.
Yeah, in that last match, Tony, I mean, Zach Bronigal came on at the end, as you said, but a little too late and maybe one challenge brick short. And that was a very close takedown on the end, and that was the difference in the match, not getting that takedown. But as you said, the battle of the two big men, and no one bigger than Nick Feldman. Big, strong heavyweight.
Well, when we talked to the coaches earlier in this week, this was the matchup that they had circled. Number 7 versus number 11, two big dudes. For this weight class, these are two dudes that are just absolutely built. Sometimes you'll see the super tall 285-pounders. These 285-pounders are a little stocky for their weight class, but boy, do they have the muscle.
Yeah, and Feldman loves to score points. I'm a little shocked that Feldman's here tonight and not on the field for the Ohio State Buckeyes against Texas in that BCS semifinal game where Ohio State is leading right now 14-7. So they're leading on the scoreboard in that game, and they're leading on this scoreboard, Tony.
Yeah, they're leading 21-9. They have this matchup all but wrapped up. Had Zach Bronigal come back late in the last matchup, it would have been up to Luke Luffman to get a pin here, but instead it's Nick Feldman wrestling with no care in the world as his team already has the victory locked up.
Yeah, and Feldman, you know, his 3 losses have come against number 8, number 3 Wyatt Hendrickson, number 16 Jimmy Mullins. And when I was talking to both Tom Ryan and Mike Poeta, they both said the same thing about both of the wrestlers. They have beaten pretty similar guys. They have just had wins against that 5 through 10 tier rank guys, but they haven't had that push through victory. So a big victory here for either one of these guys is going to bode well come the Big Ten tournament for seeding. And if, you know, for Luke Luffman, you know, Feldman likes to come out, score a ton of points early, you know, dominate the match early. If Luke Luffman can weather the storm, he might have an advantage here as the match goes on.
Well, I mentioned how Coach Poeta talked about getting these 6th and 7th year guys extra time off throughout the weeks, getting some extra time to just rest and not train. Well, Luke Luffman was one of those players, one of those wrestlers that Poeta had taking extra breaks, but we mentioned that those wrestlers who haven't getting the breaks, maybe not up to standards as far as their records go. Luke Luffman, undefeated in duels. I asked Coach Poeta maybe how come Luke Luffman is able to withstand that collegiate training we were talking about, and he chalks it up to not needing to cut weight. Luke Luffman sitting right around that 255 range. He's got 30 pounds to spare, doesn't have to cut weight at all, so he gets time to rest and not worry about training on his own time.
Yeah, you know, and Luke too, his last 2 seasons ended early with major injuries. So getting Luke extra rest makes a ton of sense, you know, and get him fresh for that Big Ten tournament, because Luke hasn't been able to wrestle in that Big Ten tournament. And when I talk to Luke, that's something that he's longing for. He wants that opportunity to wrestle on that big stage and not just do it here in Huff Hall.
Well, he absolutely deserves it, as that was not the period to write home about. 0-0 going into the second.
Get set.
You know, Feldman coming off a great season as a redshirt freshman, took 2nd in the Big Tens, 5th in the 2024 National Championship, was an All-American from the came from Melvin Prep, one of the best high schools in Pennsylvania and in the country. Nice lift and bust.
There's that strength I was talking about in the first period from Luke Luffman. It is not easy, even for these 285-pounders, to get anybody up off the mat like that. He got Nick Feldman up 2 feet off the mat there.
It's a big lift and bust and got the crowd back in it a little bit. But Feldman gets that escape and takes the early lead, 1-0. These two guys feeling themselves out with 1:30 to go in the second period. You know, Luffman had a huge win against the number 3 or 4 guy in the country, Colton Schultz, earlier at the journeyman duels, you know, and then suffered that loss. Kind of an upset against Owen Shrepman, but then he's rolled off some wins. Back-to-back. Pardo, Nitzel, Guthridge, Bullock. Nice wins for him. And got that fall against Indiana. But now he's up against that tough competitor, Nick Feldman. You know, not giving up that All-American status too easy here to Luke Luffman.
Quiet matchup so far, just 1-0. Hasn't really been a true shot attempt even from either side yet. As I say that, Luke Luffman goes for that leg, unsuccessful.
Yeah, and the strategy here, Tony, is, you know, with both of these guys being so big and strong, no one wants to end up underneath the other man. So, I mean, he's going to take a shot. If he can't get it, he's going to get in and out as quick as possible. You're going to feel each other out. 22 seconds here to go. 1-0. Luffman's going to take down in the third period and hopefully be able to get away from Feldman, and we're a 1-1 match, and, you know, with 2 minutes to go here in this duel.
Another slow, hand-fighty period here in this heavyweight matchup. Nick Feldman keeping that 1-0 lead. Like you said, Luke Luffman taking bottom as he should.
Set green, red cover.
Be interesting to see here, you know, Feldman on top.
Let's go.
Not overly familiar with Feldman's top game, but see if Luffman can get out. He's right up to his feet and no leaving, lifting. No wasted energy trying to bring Luffman back down to the mat, Tony.
Yeah, Nick Feldman basically chose option without choosing option there. It's good defense there by Feldman. Let Luffman just go right by.
Both of these guys, you know, third period, just at the 1:30 mark. Big guys out there, hand fighting, sweating. First takedown here is going to win this match. 1-1. Feldman looking for that underhook, both on those collar ties. Luffman controlling the wrist. Ohio State's going to wrap up this duel, as we said, and then they're going to travel back. Oh, there's a little, there it is, that re-attack. As I told you, you don't want to be underneath someone, and if you're going to go for a takedown, you have to go for it. There's no half takedowns against big guys like that.
Well, that's exactly what it was. Luffman went for the shot attempt and realized he never had a chance and just lost his balance, and Feldman immediately took advantage, as these D1 Big Ten wrestlers usually do. Find those mistakes as soon as they happen. And once again, Feldman will just let Luffman up.
Okay, so we're under a minute to go in this duel, 4-2. So, you know, Feldman with the lead, Luffman has to attack, you know, open up. But as I was talking about, you know, you got to get in and out. And Luffman hesitated. He hesitated, and Feldman took advantage of it. Luke knows he has to go. 30 seconds, Tony. There's that half shot go behind, and there's that takedown.
And that was the exact same thing that happened in the first takedown as well. Luffman went for a shot on the right leg. Feldman just scrambled away from it. Luffman lost his balance, and Feldman just went around him.
Yeah, as we talked about, right? You have to, if you're going to attack, you have to attack. There's no hesitation. But Tom Ryan's Buckeyes come into Huff Hall. They fight the weather. They fight the top 10 team in Illinois. And they're going to walk out of here with a victory over the Illini. And the Illini are going to suffer their first loss of the season.
The Ohio State Buckeyes, number 4 per Intermat, entering tonight. It was a snowstorm out in Champaign today, but they come into historic Huff Hall and get a dominant victory over number 10 Illinois and improve to